All right, good evening, everybody. If you can see me and you can hear me, please can I know if you can see me or you can hear me? Please let me know. Uh, Good evening, everybody. I'll be using two different cameras, and because I'm using two different cameras, I might be looking at two different things at the same time. I'm live with two different cameras. I hope we are together. All right. Good evening, good evening. Kemno Gosagi here again. It's nice to be with that conversation. I mean, an amazing conversation like that. Please, before we go, can you quickly clarify that you can hear me and you can see me? You can hear me and you can see me. Again, amazing, amazing. Quickly mute this 1 minute. Please. Please, let me mute my mic. Deba, Deba, I'm live. Evans, I'm live. Start shouting. Tell myself. Okay, amazing. All right, so we're having a wonderful conversation tonight. Purpose and influence. Yes, purpose and influence. Can we pray, Father, we thank you for an amazing time like this. We give you praise and we give you glory. We ask for direction and articulation of words. In the name of Jesus. Amen. Amazing. Okay, quickly. It's a whole, I mean, it's a whole. All right, quickly. I'll start with a story, right? Nice Mo shared this story of when he was in secondary school and the teacher brought a flask, right? Brought a flask and there was hot water inside this flask. And teacher put the frog inside this flask. And immediately he entered the hot water inside the flask. It jumped out. It was repeated again, the frog was jumped out, repeated again, the frog was put there, and continually the frog jumped out. What the teacher did was this: the teacher carried the frog and put inside cold water, then put the cold water on fire. The frog was swimming and happy, swimming and happy, swimming and happy. In time, the frog was boiled to death. I mean, amazing. The frog was boiled to death. Now, that's what influence is about. Influence is it's supposed to be thinking. That's the word. Influence is supposed to be a slow active process of colonization, a slow active process of indoctrination. You know, many times we think the word indoctrination is bad. Actually, it is not bad. It is we are taking the word indoctrination to be bad. Indoctrination is not a bad word in itself. Indoctrination is a good word. You know, indoctrination is actually the ability to inculcate a doctrine into someone. So you see, every one person you see on earth today actually are living by some set of doctrines. They are living by some set of rules. These rules guide them. This will make them live the way they live. This will make them behave the way they behave. This will push them to do the things they do. Do you understand? So we must all understand that indoctrination is not bad in itself, but it's when it's misused, when it's abused, that you now see that wrong ideologies are being passed from one generation to another. That's when say indoctrination is bad. Now, quickly, you agree with me that every product has a manufacturer, right? Every product has a manufacturer, and manufacturer of that product determine the capacity of that product. It's what word should I use now? He specially designed, thank you, that's the word. He specially designed that product to fit a particular need. You understand? He specially created that product to fit a particular need, and in fitting that need, that manufacturer was intentional about the product, and was very intentional about the creation of this product. So first, you must agree that every product has a manufacturer, has a creator, and every product was created for a specific need to meet a specific need. And that same products are image of the company. Let's not go far above ourselves. Now, every human was created to be an influence in life. Every human was created to be an influence in life. Do you understand? The first question is, what is an influence? What is influence? What does it mean to influence somebody? We will go by the definition of influence. To influence simply means to dominate. Influence is equivalent to dominion. To influence, it simply means to dominate. Anyone who has influence is simply a person dominating an environment or a sphere of life. Anyone who has influence over a particular sphere of life is one that have dominion over that sphere of life. It's one that have dominion over that environment. Do you understand? So to influence simply means to dominate. To influence, it means what? To dominate. Influential people have this force that come with their life that make people listen to them, that make people like them, that make people respect them, and that make people want to be like them, that make people look up to them. Influential people, they have this kind of force, this forceful ambience that make people look up to them. Oh, I like this person. Let me tell you one story. When I was a teenager, then there's this of our events. Uncle Esley, Uncle George Esley, guy. This man was so influential in my life that I just want to model this man. Do you understand? So influential people have this force that make people want to model them, that make people just want to see them and live their kind of life. That's what influence is. So influence naturally means dominion. Influence naturally means to dominate. So when you say somebody is influential concerning this sort of life, you mean that this person has dominated this sort of life. This person has dominion over this environment. I hope you get that now. Of course you do. Every one of us has someone influencing us, is a fact. Every one of us has someone influencing us, and whoever dominates an area of life, we have dominion. Whoever dominates an area of life, we have dominion. So that's if we can keep on going and explain what it is. It has a lot of meaning. So influence is not a spiritual thing. It's not something spiritual. We have to come to this understanding. So remember that we said, okay, before I go down this way, let me tell you that we have two forms of influence. Now we have the upstream influence and we have the downstream influence. That means let's use the democratic definition. We are product of influence in that we can be influenced and we can influence others. We are product of influence in that we can be influenced and we can influence others. So the upstream kind of influence is when we are the recipient of that influence. Do you understand? Is that what I heard? Yes. Upstream influence is when you are the recipient of that influence and are adjusting accordance to manage the recipient. Remember now that I said that I had an uncle, he was my teacher in our teens church. I was looking up to him. I wanted to live like him. I wanted to be like him. So me adjusting my life to fit into to model his life, that's an influence. I'm the one receiving the influence. So influence, when we say upstream, is when the person in question is the recipient of that influence. So we call that an upstream. We have the downstream influence. Downstream influence is when I have mentees, I have people that are modeling me. I have people that look up to me. I have people that respect and like me. I want to be like me. Remember, we said that influential people have this force go along with their life that make people just want to be like them. I mean, people just respect them. That make people look up to them. So when we say downstream influence, is when I have people that look up to me. I am careful enough to see that these people are looking up to me and they are adjusting their lifestyle. They are adjusting their ways of pattern, their thoughts, their pattern of living just to fit into my kind of life. Do you understand? So that's what we call downstream of influence. So basically tonight what we are looking at is the downstream of influence. We are looking at that kind of downstream of influence. It's not the upstream influence. So we have distinguished the two types of influence. I know you are still with me. So let's go. So we understand that influence is not a spiritual thing. No. Influence is a tool. Amazing. Influence is a tool, like a cutlass, like what other tool can you think of? A tractor. I remember a conversation with somebody someday, and the person said, no, we were in that conversation, and I said that uh, I think it was one period where death was so rampant. Oh my, it's bad. 1 minute, please. I will come back live. Just give me a minute, please. Let me wait, please. Let We're back. Amazing. All right. Can you hear me? Can you still see me? I hope so. All right. Amazing. Well, we a little bit of challenge here and there, but amazing. Okay. Yeah. We. All right. We said that purpose is a not purpose. Sorry. Influence is a tool, right? Influence is a tool. So, like every other tool can be handled, can be abused, and can be misused. You understand? So, like your cutlass, your whole tractor, whatever tool you can okay, you can think of. And I remember seeing we were discussing about one period where death was rampant, and somebody said, uh, I'm like, if somebody go and buy rat poison and eat, it's not the seller's fault. You understand? When somebody goes out and buy rat poison from somebody that's selling rat poison, and the intention was that this rat poison is supposed to be used to kill rat, and the person that takes it as a meal, that's not the rat poison seller's fault. It's not the person's fault. Then he said, no, why would I say that? That you are not supposed to say, no, I was like, the rat poison seller will never know if this person is going to use this rat poison for anything. You understand? So basically, it's more like a transaction. You come to me, say you want to buy rat poison, and give you rat poison. I go and do whatever you choose with it. I am no longer obligated to start asking you what are you going to do with rat poison. You understand? So the same way, influence is a tool, and because it's a tool, be used aright and can be abused. You understand? Can be used aright and can be abused. Can abuse influence. You can misuse influence. So you must have this understanding of that. You must not confuse influence with fame. Oh my. You must not confuse influence with fame. Fame is like a flame. It's more like it can be a flash in the pan, can be managed and it can grow. You understand? Influence cannot be confused with fame. Influence cannot be confused with fame. So you must have this understanding that influence cannot be confused with fame. With fame. So now, influence is a stronger force than fame. Influence is a stronger force than fame. Influence is a stronger force than fame. Influence is not what is um it's what lasts even when you are out of this world. Yes. Influence is what lasts even when you are out of this world. It means your life has so much dominion that it cannot be destroyed by death. It means that your life has so much dominion that it cannot be destroyed by death. Okay, first you need to know that you were placed in time for influence. You were placed in time for influence. Remember that eternity is time without measure. Eternity is time without measure. So God actually carried it from eternity and show you to earth to time for you to be impactful, for you to be influential. So now the yardstick for measuring influence is not about longevity. No, the yardstick for measuring influence is about impact. Do you understand? The yardstick for measuring what's it called now? Influence is about impact. Now let's look at the mark of Methuselah. Methuselah is one that lived now that 69 years, yes, 969. And the only thing we can see of Methuselah is that he walked upon the earth. Look at the man called Jesus. Jesus was one that just lived 32 years. Methuselah we cannot remember, Jesus we cannot forget. You understand? Methuselah we cannot remember, Jesus we cannot forget. Potential people are not necessarily popular. Do you understand this, man? Influence is not the same thing as popularity. Now, the popularity in this age simply means that you have large fan base. It means that you have large following. It means that you have popularity as it's called. It means that you have large populace following you. So it's taken from the word population. You understand? So popularity should not be confused for influence. Should not be confused for influence. Influence is way different from popularity. You can be influential and still be popular, but they are not exactly the same thing. They are not exactly the same thing. So the yardstick for measuring influence is what? Impact. Whew. Amazing. Amazing. All right. Now, quickly. Oh my. Okay. Now, influence is a strategy. We are going deeper now. Follow me. Influence is a strategy. Many times when we are called to people, we are just uh, most likely this will go out well. Most likely this will be good for me. Hope is good, but hope is not a strategy. Do you understand now? Hope is good, but hope is not a strategy. You need to understand the strategies of this world and how to maximize it for your benefit. Hope is not a strategy. You need to be very, very strategic. Hope alone, sorry, is not a strategy. Influence is a strategy. Now, remember when we said that the story we started with, we said that the what's called now, the frog was placed inside hot water first, and the frog jumped out. Then what happened next? The frog was placed inside a cold water and was boiled to death. That's the strategy you must have as one that is working in purpose and using influence as strategy. As one that's working in purpose and using influence as strategy, knowing in mind that first, when you are caught into purpose, you are caught into a war zone. Yes, purpose is war. You are caught into a war zone, and you must be very, very wise and discerning to employ the necessary structure, to employ the necessary force to win this war. Do you understand? Now, many times we want to win the war of purpose with just going out to check tracks. Your purpose first, we should not be discussing this now, is for colonization. You already should know that by now. The purpose is for colonization, it's for bringing of the kingdom and the culture of heaven to influence the earth. Do you understand? It's for bringing the principle, the pattern of heaven to influence the earth. It's actually a superimposition of heaven on earth. Do you understand? He said that the knowledge of God will cover the earth as water covered the sea, to the extent that people start living naturally in the godly lifestyle. That to the extent that when a man in business tells you that this is the actual figure, you don't need a confirmation, because actually that kingdom of business has been possessed and has been recalibrated to function in a pattern that is systematic and in accordance to the kingdom of heaven. Do you understand? So that's the end goal of purpose. That's the end goal of purpose. You must have this in mind. You must definitely have this in mind. And for us to achieve that end goal, you must be very, very strategic. And the strategy should employ the strategy of influence. Oh my. Many a times there's this what word should I use? This cancerous belief. Thank you. That's the word. This demonic belief that's been sold to Christians, that that before you actually live a life of purpose, you need to quit from your job and come into full-time ministry. That's a lie. It's a lie, and it's on scripture. You don't have to. Oh my. You don't have to leave your job and become a full-time Christian for you. Is there anything like a full-time Christian? Sorry, that's wrong. I take that back. To become a full-time, what word should I? To become a church owner. That's the word. To become a church owner before we can say you are fulfilling purpose. Or to not stand behind a pulpit and hold mic and be on podium before we say you are fulfilling purpose. That's not right. Jesus knew that purpose has to be fulfilled in the place of work, and he so much had this understanding that he did not wait for the people to come to meet him for him to direct them to the pattern and lifestyle of the kingdom. He actually left his place and went to meet them in their work zone. That's what purpose is. Purpose is carrying this nature, this position of the culture and the pattern of heaven, to go to your workplace and influence that workplace to start working in accordance to the pattern of heaven, to the extent that you will not need to reform laws in government, because the laws, the people there are so accustomed to the pattern of heaven that the laws now function naturally as the law that pleases the kingdom, as the law that works in accordance with the kingdom. Do you understand that? I just hope you are getting this. So we don't need to now have an education information, because the things in education are in accordance to the kingdom. because people that have understanding and are taking the matters of education are working functionally to see that, oh, and this pattern of education, this pattern of information we are pushing out to the younger generations are in accordance to building them to become kingdom voice, building them to become kingdom ambassadors, building them to become influential and impactful kingdom voice. Oh my. So hope alone is not a strategy. Hope alone is not a strategy. You have to be very strategic. So Jesus took the what's called them, the kingdom or the spiritual. I want to meet the woman by the wayside. You want to ask me, how do I know that's our workplace? Check, check, check. It was actually the work of women to always go and fetch water. When when a wife was supposed to be looked for Isaac, where did the servant see the woman? The servant saw the woman by the wayside. When Moses actually met the people he actually got married to, his wife that he eventually got married to, where did he meet them? He made them fetching water for the camels. So it was natural. It was natural that that was their work. That's the place to work for the women to always get water. Do you understand? So it was necessary that purpose was taken to the organization. Purpose was taken to the workplace to go and impose that kingdom. Let's impose, no, not impose. So what influence? Because imposition and influence are two different things. You don't impose culture and nature into people. You influence people to see and work in accordance with that culture. Oh my. You influence people to see that the need to work in accordance with that nature. Oh Lord, help me. Uh, Influence is more important than power. Influence is more important than power. Many a times we want to go out and share chat. Want to go out and say, especially parents want to go out and say, "Hey, child, you must live with this kind of lifestyle." Sir. Influence has to do with modeling, right? Influence has to do with modeling. If you are living a kind of influential lifestyle, you don't need to force down your children's truth. You don't need to force down a lifestyle down your children's throat. No, they will see you as a model. They will see you as a pattern to follow. Do you understand? They will in Israel, and he was just there doing his thing. I mean, everybody called David, and when it eventually was time for him to provide solution to national problems, David was called upon. David was called upon, and in fact, he was not called upon. I mean, he went to give food to his brothers, and in giving food to his brothers, he heard that there's this stupid. Should we call him stupid now? No, it's not. This big giant has been terrorizing Israel for 30 good days, a whole month. Nobody could do anything. He comes out and shouts, "Where's the best of your man?" And he goes back. He comes out again, shout, "Where's the best of your man?" And, I mean, he kept on mocking Israel again and again, again and again. Then he goes out and tell the king, "See, I can take this man down." And the king is like, "Are you normal? We are saying that the host of army of Israel, as strong as Israel, haven't you heard the record of history that God has wrought through Israel before? Now we are telling you that as much as those records have been, that nobody is able to take down this man." Saul, no, I mean, sorry, the king Saul was saying, nobody is able to take down this man. You, one little small boy, is saying that you want to come and take down a whole giant. It did not occur to the king that, see, this one is functioning by design. This one is at his comfort zone. So the comfort zone of David was to kill lions and bears. He said, "See, I have killed lions and bears before. When lions and bears came, I'm a shepherd boy. When lions and bears came to steal the sheep I'm taking care of, he said, I pursued them, I killed them, and I rescued the sheep from them." So he already have been practicing. He already has understood his design. He already have understood his comfort zone and know where he was to function from. If you read the story of David, he said that David came from a tribe that actually used catapult. Oh my! They were so skilled at using catapult that if a bird is flying, and they want to kill that bird with catapult, they will not miss it. That's how skillful they were. So David was so skilled at using catapult. He said, "Don't worry." And the king was like, "Oh, come and take this armor. Come and do this." He said, "Don't worry. What is? I don't need this. He was one that already understood his design. I'm telling you how he became successful and therefore became influential. Do you understand? So he already understood his design. So the first thing first is to understand your design, understand your purpose. Before you start thinking about influence, you must understand your purpose and start working in your purpose. Remember we said that influence is dominion in a sphere of life. That means you must understand the sphere of life and understand by design that this is where I'm called to function. This is where I'm called to give my excellence. This is where I'm called to give my best. You must have that understanding first, and therefore launch act in that field, and therefore you cannot start being successful, and we cannot start talking about influence. So influence is a byproduct of success. You understand? Influence is a byproduct of success. Influence is a byproduct of success. So David went out, killed the Goliath, and therefore David became influential because that he was able to solve a national problem in Israel. He was able to solve a national problem. The second one you want to understand now how people become influential is through wealth. Not just through wealth, through wealth that's made by right means. Thank you. Not just through wealth. These days it's better we clarify things. We have so many means to make wealth these days. So it's of necessity that we clarify things, that you don't just become influential by having wealth or by having bullion banks coming to your house to distribute money. No, that's not what influence is. Influence actually has to do with you having and making money through a legitimate means. Do you understand? Through having and making money through legitimate means. That's what influence actually is. So you want to be impactful and not be influential, you need to have wealth. Now let's take a look at the man called Solomon. Solomon was one that was renowned for his wisdom and wealth. Amen. Solomon was one that was renowned for his wisdom and wealth. Solomon had so much money that the kings of the earth came and started coming to see him. A popular one called Queen of Sheba. Scripture tells us that when Queen of Sheba came, it was recorded that Queen of Sheba, what she saw more than what she has heard. What she saw when she got to Solomon's God now. Solomon's temple, is it temple now? Solomon's palace. Thank you. That's the appropriate word. Solomon's palace was even more than what she was told of, to the extent that she fainted. It was recorded as spirits left her. She fainted because she had not seen that articulation of wisdom before. She had not seen that display of word before. To the extent that everything in the palace was made of pure gold. That's a zoomed in word to the highest. Do you understand? That's a zoomed in word to the highest, and because of that, he was very influential. So two things that makes one influential: first is success, second is wealth. First is success, and second is wealth. And all these influence are byproduct of all these influence. Why should I be influential? Think of being influential. Okay, before I go there, I had an opportunity to make money from several means. I will not lie to you. I mean, if you are a young boy in Nigeria now, you should have had opportunities to make money from several means. Either enter one or enter one thing or the other. Do you understand? So there are several means, there are several means staring at us to make money. But we have made a decision because we know that wealth in itself is not an end, it's a means to an end. So for me, wealth is not just an end. I'm not just going to make wealth and say, oh, I'm right. No, that's nonsense. That's not what wealth is about. Wealth basically is the ability to have this money and use it for impact. Do you understand? Have this money and use it for impact and use it for influence. So why influence? Number one, influence is about impacting and not imposing. So we basically are discussing influence in your journey, your purpose, because you cannot achieve that purpose. You cannot achieve that. We have specific purpose and general purpose. You cannot achieve that general purpose in the heart of the Father without colonization. Now, what is colonization? Colonization is actually carrying the culture of the kingdom and not imposing and influencing another kingdom with that culture. Thank you. Colonization is taking the culture, the pattern of living, and taking it to another kingdom for them to live in accordance. You see, Nigeria was colonized by the Britain. Now, today we wear suits. It's not because our forefathers wore suits. No, it's because we were colonized and the Britain taught us how to wear suits. Today we drink tea, we drink coffee because we are taught it was in their culture to drink tea and coffee. Do you understand? So their culture started rubbing off on us because we were colonized by them. Today Nigeria don't speak French because Britain don't speak French. Do you understand? So that's one thing about colonization. So your purpose and goal is for colonization, and you cannot achieve colonization without influence. You cannot achieve colonization without influence. You need to go to that your workplace and colonize that workplace for the kingdom. You need to go to that your banking sector and colonize that banking sector for the kingdom. You need to go to that media and stand still that no, there will not be falsification of information and that will be projected to the public because you are a kingdom effort. You are influencing that that media house for the kingdom. So you achieve purpose without influence. You cannot achieve purpose without influence. You cannot achieve purpose without influence. You need to start considering influence if you are one that will be paying attention to influence. If you are one that will not be paying attention to influence. Another way it can be influential is right living. Right living. Let's not just do that. It's right living. People should see your life and want to model your life. People should see you and want to follow you. People should know that, oh, this is my stand, this is his stand. He does not shift ground. If he says this, he has said this. He does not shift ground. I don't want to delve into political matters, and there are a lot of dragging here and there on Twitter these days where you see that somebody has said one thing before for a candidate and the next thing he's saying another thing for the same candidate, and you're like, where is your stand? Do you understand? People should see your stand. They should know your stand and know that this is who you are. If you say this is black, they don't need to go outside and confirm again that whether this is black or white. Do you understand? That's one way to influence. That's one way to influence, and you cannot achieve purpose without Influence. So with this viewpoint of mine, hope I've been able to convince you and not to confuse you that you need influence. You cannot be overemphasized. You need influence to achieve purpose. You need influence to walk in line of purpose. You need influence to lead a purposeful lifestyle. Yes, you sure do need influence. My name is Kevin Ogonsagi, and it has been an amazing time here tonight. I really did enjoy myself. So, your questions, drop it in the comment section. We want to hear from you. We want to see you. We want to have that conversation with you. God bless you. We love you. We'll do this again on Sunday, and I cannot wait to see you. Have a lovely night, rest, and God bless you. So, we're going off now. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. Good night, everybody. More like it's time to say goodbye. It's time to say goodbye. Okay, it's time to say goodbye. Good night, everyone. Good night.